Hey guys, welcome to the Forge. This is my first video on YouTube, so please let me know what you guys think of it. If you like it, please consider subscribing and drop a like. We're also making a Magic the Gathering community in Discord. Check the description of this video for the link if you want to join the Forge. I will also put a link of a video that made me love this commander in the description. Please check him out after you're done watching this video. Thanks. Okay, let's explain the star of the show, Xyris, the writhing storm. Legendary creature, Snake Leviathan, flying. Whenever an opponent draws a card except the first one they draw, and each of their draw steps, create a 1/1 green snake creature token. Whenever Xyris the Writhing Storm deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each draw that many cards. It's for 2 mana, a green, and a blue, and a red. He's one of the best group hug and funny Yankee stupid commanders I've ever played. Okay, let's start with the ramp spells that I'm running in this deck. Okay, let's start off with one of my favorites. It's Harrow. It's an instant. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a land. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. So not untapped, no nothing, you can go crazy with it. Then the second one, it's Cultivate. It's a sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal those cards, put one into the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand and then shuffle. The third one is Kadama's Reach, a sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal those cards, put one onto the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, then shuffle. Basically the same card. Then we have Peregration. Search library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal those cards and put one onto the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand. Shuffle your library, then scry one. It's basically the same spell, but you could scry one. Then we have Rolling Regrowth. It's an instant. Sacrifice a land. Search library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So it's a little bit better than the other ones, but you need to sacrifice a land. Then we have a spell, Skyshroud's Claim. It's a sorcery as well, that you need to put in every green colored deck. Search library up to 2 forest cards, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Not tapped, forest cards, so you could grab shock lands or things like that. It's crazy. Then I have a few cards that look a little bit the same and do the same thing, but they're really good to get card advantage and land advantage as well. One is called Growth Spiral. Draw a card. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. The second one is Eureka Moment. It's an instant. They both are instants. Draw 2 cards. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. And the last one is Joint Exploration. It has a kicker cost for 1 green. And if you kicked it, it says scry 2, then draw a card. If this spell was kicked, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. It's also not tapped, so you could play more spells because they're not tapped or something like that. Group Hug. This is the part that makes the game the most fun. You could bribe people with these cards. You could tell them to attack other opponents and just make them your little minion because you played this spell for them. It's good for them, it's good for you, but you make the game more chaotic. The first card is Concordant Crossroads. It's a world enchantment and it gives every creature haste. So that's just mayhem. You give like a Galta player haste on his commander and things like that. You could just do crazy things with it. We're not going for doubling season, we're going for Primal Figure. It's an enchantment. If 1 or more tokens will be created, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. And if 1 or more +1/+1 counters will be put onto a creature, twice that many +1/+1 counters are put on that creature. It's a bribery tactic as well. You could help your opponent make more tokens, or if somebody is playing a +1/+1 token deck, you could give them more of that, but you can make deals that they don't attack you for like a few turns or things like that. It's really fun. And then, last but not least, Mana Flare. It's an enchantment. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, the player adds 1 mana of any type that land produces. So you get 2 mana, or if you have a land that taps for 2, you have 3 mana. So the game goes crazy fast. People are very happy. It makes the game really fun. And don't forget Xyris, because he just draws you a fuck ton of cards, and other people as well, and they have so much fun with those cards, and they think they can do something towards you or towards the other guys on the table, but you just sneak up on them and destroy them. Then we have two cards that combo really good with xyris. You draw a lot of cards, so you have a lot of lands in your hand. Then Azusa states that you could play 2 more lands on each of your turns, so you could play 3 lands in total. You have so many cards in hand. Sometimes I have like 35 cards in my hand from drawing things and using spells. You could play 3 of them. If you have Lotus Cobra on the field, you get a landfall trigger. When you play land, you can add 1 additional mana of any color of your choosing. So you could have like a crazy amount of mana. If you play ramp spells as well, when Lotus Cobra is on the field, you could put 2 lands onto the battlefield, gain 2 more mana, play another ramp spell with it, play Azusa, do crazy things. These 2 cards are so good in this deck. Let's head to all the triggered abilities of cool cards from this deck. Then we have 3 cards that go really good together. Essex Fractal Bloom, it states flying. The first time you would create 1 or more tokens during each of your turns, you may instead choose a creature other than Essex Fractal Bloom and create that many tokens that are copies of that creature. A good creature to copy is Gala Creatures. It has alliance. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, choose 1 that hasn't been chosen this turn. Put a 1/1 counter on Gala Creatures, create a trapped Terrorege token, you gain 2 life. You could do that 3 times each turn. But if you copy him with Essex Fractal Bloom, you could do that infinite of times. If you have like 20 Gala creatures on the battlefield, if 3 creatures enter the battlefield, you gained a fuck ton of life. You have a lot of big Gala creatures, and next turn you have a lot of treasure tokens as well. Silent Chronicler is a good one as well. It's an artifact, creature fraction construct. Whenever a player casts their first multi-colored spell each turn, each other player draws a card. If you make 20 or 30 of those instead of snakes and you play a multicolored spell, your playboard is doomed. A funny combo piece to all these cards is a card named Minds Aglow. It's a sorcery and it says, starting with you, each player may pay any amount of mana. Each player draws X cards, where X is the total of amount of mana paid this way. So you, if you have rammed really bad or you just made a deal with some people on the table, could draw like a lot of cards, and you would also make a lot of snakes or other creatures. So if you would draw like 15 cards, they will also draw 15 cards. So you would make 45 creatures that will ETB, and you could copy or Zenith or Gala Greeters. It's just crazy combo. Then you have some cards like Black Vice. At the end of target opponent's upkeep, Black Vice deals the player 1 damage for each card in his or her hand in excess of 4. So if he has 15 cards in hand, you do a lot of damage to him. Chasm Soaker is also a good addition. You draw that many cards, Nahab will combo with Chasm Soaker as well, and you could put a lot of 1/1 counters on Chasm Soaker, and when he dies or when you sacrifice him, he makes a lot of 1/1 creatures. They ETB, or you can attack people with them. Nahab says, whenever you deal combat damage with Nahab, you could discard any amount of cards and you get that amount of red mana and you draw that many cards. So if you attacked with xyris and you drew like 20 cards, you could discard 20 cards, draw 20 cards again, so you have drawn 40 cards, make a lot of red mana, you could play a lot of spells, and you could just end the game with this combo or something like that. It's really crazy. Then you have these 2 awesome cards. You have Impact Tremors. You could combo with the slide that I showed you before this. If Chasm Soaker had 40 counters on it and you sacrifice him to Goblin Bombardment, you would that 40 creatures ETB, then you could sacrifice those 40 creatures if the 40 damage is not enough from the Impact Tremors, and you could kill everything on the board on site. It's just incredibly good in this deck. Then there is another card that's really crazy in this lineup. It's Forced Fruition. If somebody would play a spell, they would draw 7 cards. You would mill them out, you would make a lot of creatures, you will make or snakes or Zenith or anything. You would just have the upper hand. This card is crazy. If people see this card on the board, they think they already have lose the game. Now I'm gonna explain some win cons that I always use to win with Xyris. The first win con is with the Shana Voice of Thunder. It's a really fun combo. If she enters the battlefield, you draw cards equal to the amount of creatures that you control. So if you have 25 snakes, you draw 25 cards, and her power and toughness are both equal to the cards that you have in your hand. So if you play a spell like Soulsfire, you could deal that much damage to any target. So if you have like 50 cards in hand, you could do 50 damage to anything. You could also play Behold the Unspeakable, but that takes 3 turns because it's a saga, but it does the same thing as the Shana, but then without the good perks. Then the combo that I already talked about, Mind's a Glow, you let people draw a fuck ton of cards, and then when they draw that many cards and you have Xyris on the board, you make a lot of creatures, and when the creatures ETB, you deal 1 damage to each player with Impact Tremor. So if you let them draw like 25 cards and everybody is really low, everybody just dies. Then we have the most fun end game tactic. You just buff Xyris up till he's like unkittable, or you just attack with him and bait people to block or something like that, and you just make him big with a lot of spells. It's really fun to do and like one of the most funniest ways to win. A combo is cool, but this is just big chunky commander damage. You're not their friend that anymore at the end of the game. They drew a lot of cards, you made the game fun for them, but you want to win. I hope you guys liked this video. Please leave a like if you did, and leave a comment what I could do better next time or next video. I hope you guys liked this video. Please subscribe, and I will put the links down in the description for everything, for the Discord and for the guy that I took inspiration from the video. His link will also be in the video down below. Thank you guys for watching, and hope to see you next time. Hope you guys join the Forge.